Welcome back, everyone, to Mummy's Mask. In our last session, our wonderful group of sanctioned tomb robbers, adventurers perhaps, continued their explorations of the tomb of a General Akhentepi, the first location granted to you by the Grand Mausoleum here in Wati for your exploration, recovery of treasure, mapping out anything you wish to do, but basically find treasure, sell it, and then spend the money you get to help enhance the economy and culture in this great city. You managed to explore most of the entire tomb in our last session, dealing with a few Salifigids and beetles, managing to work your way past a sandling without enraging it into attacking, finding what appears to be a secret passage, perhaps, but leaving it alone for now, and most importantly, finding what was certainly designed to be appearing as the sarcophagus room of Akhentepi, but instead was a very elaborate trap, a mechanical false sarcophagus that attempted to devour you whole, while the waters of the river Sphinx were flooded into the space in efforts to drown you all. Thankfully, you managed to defeat the sarcophagus without too much damage on your guys' part. A hefty amount, to be sure, with multiple people going down and nearing death, but no lasting injuries. As well as sealing off the influx of water, finding the sconce that turned off the whole thing before any of you had to worry about drowning in the first place. Very well done. And then proceeding to find the actual secret door out that allowed you to continue further into the tomb, bringing us to the room where we currently find ourselves, a chamber for Akhentepi's grave goods. Once again, these being the items in cultural belief that Akhentepi's soul would want access to when he is in the boneyard awaiting his final judgment. Once his soul left his body, he would have access to these things. There are a number of chests and items on tables and yada yada yada. More importantly, though, was the cloud of invisible sensors in front of a secret door. Managing to nimbly dodge each of these sensors, arrive at the door, and scrub the rune that was on the wall off, you managed to deactivate what you realized was a summoning rune and would summon some sort of beast to attack you and defend this place had any of you triggered it on accident. Beyond this secret door is a long hallway, roughly 40 feet in length, ending in a blank wall. I'll give everyone here one good guess as to what's at the end of the hall on that wall.
Stairs down.
Another trap.
Precisely, you know me so well. But as we pick back up today, it is roughly 2:30 in the afternoon. You have spent the better part of the day so far, having gotten up at the crack of dawn to begin your investigations early, but just about every part of this tomb has been explored at this point.
We still have the secret door over here.
You do, and
Did
you
we
know
fully-
there's a secret door here as well.
Did we fully take apart this room?
The room you're currently in, no. You guys notice the sensors against this eastern wall and sort of dealt with those before anything else. So you have not really gone through this space to see what you could perhaps find.
So I think that might be a good opportunity to look what we can find in this room.
Certainly. Yeah, you guys could
So now that
certainly...
it's safe.
Anyone who wants to, go ahead and give me a perception check. You're starting off strong. All right. As you take a look around, none of the chests and boxes in this chamber are locked. Of course, these were personal items of Akhentepi, and thus he should not have to deal with a lock to access them. There are a few things that you find of value. There is, of course, another sealed urn that very similar to the one you found way back in the beginning. You're fairly certain is full of perfume that you are welcome to pick up and take for yourself. There is, I should say that the vast majority of these things, once fine clothing, jars of food, these have certainly been ruined just by the passage of centuries and aren't worth anything. The stuff that does have value is fewer and far between, but does exist. Aside from that urn of perfume, the other items that just generally grab value are this beautiful little silver hand mirror and a gold clasp in the shape of a scarab. There are also two items that catch your attention as being alchemical in nature. A pair of small jars filled with this very thick silver paste in them. And a single item that appears to be magical. A mask painted to look like a face, while the mask itself is made out of simple wood. The face itself details a middle-aged Osiriani male. Nebsu, you would... all of you at this point have seen this face multiple times in the tomb and would recognize the face of Akhentepi on the mask.
So there's two things Sahara wants to do. One, the perfume. She's gonna put a little bit on her because she's about ready to go into the final thing, and she really wants to smell good doing it. Two, I will use my alchemist toolkit and try and identify the alchemical. And
Sure.
I'm avoiding the mirror at all costs. I've learned my lesson. I will never look in a mirror again.
Fantastic. I'm glad you learned.
Amansu would whisper in her ear, pretty sure that's for a guy. But, yeah, you're good.
So Sahara is going to spend some time attempting to identify the alchemical items. What about the rest of you?
I believe I was...
Amansu is going to categorize and try and detail everything that's in here.
Okay.
Are there any pictographs or hieroglyphics on the wall? Or
in this chamber, no.
Okay.
This chamber is kept relatively bare and simple on the walls. Okay. Sala, what were you about to say?
He's just going to write down everything that we found in the chamber.
I think I was refocusing.
Sure. If you want to spend a couple minutes refocusing here, you are welcome to do so. Nebsu, what about you?
He's probably just standing at the entrance to this hallway and staring down it dreadfully.
Does it look if there's anything down the hallway?
The hallway looks entirely empty at the moment. You'd have to get closer to the end to maybe take a better look, but I'd say most of you could be relatively certain that there is likely another secret door at the end of it. It's not an unfinished hallway like the stairs you came across earlier were, so there's likely something beyond it. You would just have to get closer to examine it and perhaps find out what exactly the opening mechanism would be. Sahara, go ahead and give me just a recall knowledge roll to identify those alchemical items for me real quick. Fantastic. Yeah, taking a little bit of time with the toolkit. Thankfully, both items are identical, so they're not particularly difficult to figure out. These are a pair of silver salves that can be activated, drawn, or slathered on a weapon to make it count as silvered for the purposes of dealing with weaknesses and resistances that some creatures may have.
A good recipe to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this would probably be best to go to Nepsu because, well, as far as I'm aware, you're the only one with actually a weapon. I mean, Eamon it definitely has a cane, but
I will carry them if it's okay.
Yeah. You are.
I mean,
welcome
actually,
to-
there is two of them, so one each.
Yeah, we could do that as well.
Because of course, it does take some time to actually apply it, but you know, it's like any good weapon. Sometimes it's best to sharpen it in the middle of combat. That's the start.
Or you just have it ready to go. Yeah.
Each of you are
Each
welcome
would work,
to take
but-
one if you'd like. They are in the party stash, so you can grab them at your leisure. Everyone knows how to access the party stash, correct?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Great to hear.
Party stash?
Can-
What's that?
Can anybody identify this enchanted mask?
I could take a crack at it.
Yeah, if you want to spend a little bit of time attempting to identify it, Usala, you certainly may. And
I'll
I
do my
believe
best.
we did confirm last session that Nahamura has read Aura, so you have a +2 on your roll.
Andy.
Unfortunately, though, taking some time to look over it, it is certainly enchanted, and it is an item that you understand it does require investment. You do have to connect your soul to it somewhat to actually reap whatever benefits it has. You are unfortunately unable to decipher what the specific enchantment on this mask is.
Would that be a recall knowledge?
It takes about 10 minutes to try and identify it effectively. Recall knowledge is just the simplest way to roll the skills requisite. You may certainly try as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume we'll take a look at it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Taking the knowledge Usala provides, it's an invested item, but the exact effects are unknown to him. You are able to divine a bit further into the exact effects, calling upon your knowledge of the Osiriani culture and people, especially that here in Wati has long sort of been a place of interment as the main whatchamacallit, business structure. You are able to identify this as a psychopomp mask, which, if you are wearing it and you begin a turn at dying 3, it just immediately loses it and will save your life. It is a one-use item to effectively guarantee you do not die. Of course, it does require an investment slot and wearing a mask of someone else's face. So, it is your choice to make as to whether it's worth it or not.
Here you go, healer.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as he's up for asthma, so I'll probably
Certainly.
use it.
I will. I'll leave it in the stash for now, just since Nahamura himself is not here, and I do not wish to force an item upon him. But we will let him know when he does arrive that general consensus is he should take it. But otherwise, cataloging a solid chunk of what is exactly in this room brings you all pretty confident that you've gotten everything this room has to offer of value.
All right. Is everyone situated?
I'm ready.
Yep. I'm ready to go, and I also smell good.
Good to know.
Unfortunately, Sahara still has the ancient Osiriani hieroglyph for thief carved in her forehead, which, I don't think it quite balances out evenly, but, we
Yeah.
try.
That's why I don't want to look in the mirror.
All right. Well, you all are free to continue your explorations as you see fit.
She could always put the mask on. That would cover her up as thief.
Yeah,
Um,
that would make me ugly. And I'd rather be branded as a thief than be branded as ugly. A woman has
Priorities.
standards.
all right. Madam Sue will take a look down this hallway.
Yeah.
Being cautious for traps.
You're reasonably confident there's no traps in this hallway. Trap was etched on the door of it. Not many people are so paranoid that they trap a door and then the hallway directly beyond the door.
As the lightning bolt goes off.
Yeah.
Shh. Don't reveal my plans.
Etched over here on the end. Wait till they get him in the line. Perfect, I mean, it's a great trap right there.
Look, I'm just saying. Oop, did not mean to do that. Don't look. Hold up.
I was like, I don't think I clicked on anything.
I had the wrong tool open. I was merely
just know I'm
attempting
gonna
to show that's a 60-foot line. Kind of perfect for this situation.
Yeah.
I would not be so cruel as to throw a lightning bolt at a first-level party when I'm forcing them all into a line.
It's just an almost automatic
I
character.
mean, if I was building this place, I might do it.
No, you see, the designers of this place knew that it would be a level 1 party exploring it, so they had to make things
Right,
balanced.
yeah. There you go.
Imagine being entombed in a level 1 crypt.
The worst fate. But yes, as you get to the end of this hallway, you are able to pretty quickly discern that there is no trap here, and there is a simple false wall that you could push open into the next room.
Let's push it open.
All right. As you push the door open, you find yourself looking into a much smaller and simpler room compared to the much more ornate burial chamber you were trapped in earlier. Relatively plain on the walls once more, there is a raised stone platform in the center of the chamber with a sarcophagus atop it, covered in gold leaf. The cover of the casket is carved in the likeness of an adult man, arms crossed over his chest, but the whole thing is covered in an insanely thick coat of dust. There are two pretty ornate-looking chests beyond that on raised daises, and a pair of what look to be maybe large funerary urns between them on the floor that you can't quite see them well, them being directly behind the sarcophagus from your position.
Madam Sue will defer to Nebsu, if you'd like to go in first and examine his father's resting place.
I detect magic.
You certainly detect magic.
Watch out, it's enchanted.
Nebsu will just kneel and offer a prayer to Anubis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
While the others do their thing.
Namsu steps into the room and begins to kneel. Is your prayer silent or said aloud?
Probably just under the breath.
Okay.
Whatever that means for a weird construct.
It's very strange for a sword to be speaking under its breath, but hey, it manages.
It hums loudly.
Nemsu stepping into the room a little bit as well in order to do whatever it is you wish to do.
Would you require a perception check or just
Oh, I might certainly ask for one in this situation. Are you doing just like a general sweep of the room?
general sweep of the room, and then I'll go over the items individually to see if there's any further traps, just in case.
Sounds
Cover all
good.
bases.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take one general perception check for that here. Okay. Yeah, as you step a bit gingerly around Nebsu into the room proper and begin to get a better look around, able to see beyond the sarcophagus into that sort of space directly behind it, where those urns are. Oh, step back a second because you might not want to move there immediately. This is,
okay.
I'm just gonna. This is what you're noticing while you're there. It may change your
Okay.
actions.
Sure.
Because there's something else behind the sarcophagus. Something that looks metallic and
cool.
cylindrical in nature. But
Are your sisters like a sword like you, or?
My sister is dead. She
There's
drowned.
something else here.
you notice a number
further
of
perception check.
small crevices in whatever that cylinder is, almost as if it's a number of like small cylinders that have been hinged together. It's very snake-like.
Oh, okay. Is there enough to do a knowledge check on that?
You only sort of catch the glint of the light spell that's following you emanating off of the metal. I will allow a check here. From where you are with how little vision you have, it's going to be quite a high DC, though.
Gotcha. Before I do that, I'm going to halt Nebsu in his prayer. I'm very sorry, but you're gonna want your faculties about you. There's something else in here with us, I think. And maybe I know what it is, maybe I don't.
What were you saying there, Nebsu?
I stand up.
Okay. Yeah.
Prepare for a fight.
Thinking on it, Nemsu, for a moment, you have an idea of what it is. Your mind immediately goes to metallic, snake-like body from the little bit you noticed. An iron cobra, perhaps, which is a relatively simple construct to craft. It is in the shape of a cobra, of course, oftentimes used as like bodyguards, guardians, or assassins.
So rolled pretty good.
You
Poor
did.
little sweet. I will repeat this to the group. It seems we have maybe an iron cobra. Do I have an idea of anything interesting about this thing that would help us deal with it quicker?
I try to avoid giving combat information to pre-combat
Sure.
recon knowledge rolls when possible. I would say at best you are aware that they are mindless constructs.
Okay.
So any mental effects will not do anything to them.
So mostly construct, so mind would most likely not work. Nebsu, you want to take the other side? I'll take this side.
Anybody have
pincer
a really
maneuver.
long? Anybody have a really long poker, like a staff or something that you can poke it from a distance?
Who bought the 10-foot pole?
I've got a 3-foot pole in my cane, but it's not quite reach.
Anyone got a snake hook?
Before you step forward, Nebsu, I apologize. As the two of you sort of separate to separate parts of the sarcophagus and begin talking about what you might do to draw it out, it is going to make the first move, so I'm going to ask everyone to roll initiative here. Unfortunately, because of
In
the
negotiations, the first one to talk is the loser.
The
Yep.
negotiations were short.
I hate you. Unfortunately, it will not be hidden to anyone because of your perception check, so it is not going to get anyone off guard to its first attack here. But it is still going to be the first to go, as it looks a little something like this. He's so
I
happy to
love
see you all.
him. I want one.
How cute. That would make a good
Let's
pet.
adopt him.
Sure, adopt
And
the mindless
he's even got a
construct.
trunk for he's carrying.
I can rebuild him.
Yeah, it's his charging box. Okay, don't judge. He gets plugged into it with his tail and charges. The snake is up first here, and it is going to slither at the intruders in its room. It is going to specifically here go after Amenemsu, slithering forth towards you and immediately just full stop biting at you, Amenemsu. And I believe a 23 will hit.
Yes, it will.
All right. And that is going to be a mild 6 points of piercing damage as it bites into your leg as you are conversing with the group, moving much faster than you might have expected this sort of creature to be able to. 40-foot move speed. Hi-ya.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, very fast. Go ahead and take that damage for me if you would not mind. Oh my god, I forgot you guys are level 1. You have no hit points. And like a normal snake, there is venom at play here, which might seem a bit strange to you, considering this is, of course, a construct, not a real snake, so there's no way that venom is naturally occurring. But nonetheless, there is going to be some venom that enters your veins through that bite, so I will need a fortitude save
Yes,
as
I'm
well.
so good at fortitude saves.
Let's go rogue. Oh shit, let's go rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you feel the venom enter your system, you just power through, force it back, and just quickly sort of resist the intrusive effect of it. Unfortunately, it has one more bite to go.
I pick up some dust and throw it on the wound.
And thankfully, as you do so, that strange movement to pick up and throw some dust causes you to dodge out of the way of the snake's bite. Nebsu, that's going to bring us over to you.
Okay.
Sarcophagus will count as, we'll say, difficult terrain. If you want to jump on top of it, that is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to get here without 2 move actions. for me, 'cause
With only 20
my
feet of
armor,
movement, no.
So I will step over here,
Mhm.
and I will snagging strike.
Not the snagging strike. Go for it.
And roll my attack.
How to buff a rogue 101. Have a fighter with snagging strike.
Hell yeah.
23.
Yeah, that's a hit. Make him off guard until the start of your next turn.
For 8 damage, reduced by hardness, probably.
Surprisingly,
If it's a
no,
construct.
actually.
Oh, wow.
This thing is a simple construct. It does not have a regular construct sort of hardness and higher AC because of that. It is simply a mechanical entity.
Okay. So he hits it and grabs it in the back of the neck, like you do a snake.
Mhm.
And then he will strike one more time.
Fantastic. Use your sword to then grab out like the back of the tail so it's up in the air for someone else to hit.
Miss. Yeah.
All right. As you strike once more, this time the blade clanging off of the scales not actually finding deep purchase. Sahara, that's going to bring us over to you.
And Sahara is going to play a little bit of an inspirational song about children stepping all over snakes in a snake dance.
Hey,
The snake bashing dance. Oh, I can't remember the Simpsons. I was trying to think of the Simpsons name.
like this one.
And then I think I will pull out my whip.
Mhm.
And as much
Watch
as
your
this,
name.
Shut up.
I had to try so hard, and you just said it anyway.
Sorry.
Kill your
and
character.
I think I'm going to try and see what happens. Let's see if I can actually use this whip.
Sure, I am going to give it lesser cover, simply because you are attacking through two of your allies here. So
Right.
trying not to hit either of them. But an 18 will hit.
And I do
Strange that
have
did
it.
not do the targeting.
Yeah, I do have it targeted.
Huh.
I have the red things
Yeah,
going. To it.
I can see you've got targeted. Foundry is made out of spaghetti code. Did you have the roll dialog box up before you targeted it?
No.
Oh.
I targeted it and then rolled the dice.
Well, then I don't know. Foundry's just jank. But a solid 3
It's still
points of
pretty
slashing
awesome.
damage.
Not gonna lie.
And, I would disarm it, but I can't, so... Or
Already
trip it.
has no arms.
Doesn't really have arms.
Yeah. So that is all 3 of my actions.
Sounds
That's what
good.
its box.
Amenemsu, that's going to bring us to you. It's already off guard for you. Have as much fun as
Sweet.
you would like.
Oh, certainly. I'm going to actually produce a maneuver. Where is that? Tumble through. I'm gonna
Aha.
tumble through to the other side.
Fantastic.
And I already have it targeted. Pretty sure 26 will get through
Easy
it.
enough.
Now there's room. I was kind of hoping to be a little higher so I could do that earlier, but it didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
I should
It
have
is
probably
alright.
delayed.
Was
And
effectively
still targeted.
stepping past the edge of the sarcophagus was what would have fully triggered it to attack, but it became aware of you guys the moment the door was opened. So,
All right. Sword cane.
mm-hmm.
Strike to do.
A 25 is a hit, just barely missing the crit.
All right, it's damage. Thank you for the off guard. I like it.
Fantastic 8 points. This thing's already pretty badly damaged, nearly broken. It is a relatively simple construct. It does not appear to be particularly strong.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw another flash at it. See if I can do something.
Sounds good.
Nope, definitely not with that.
7's a big old whiff. All right. Last but not least, Usala, that's going to bring us to you.
Alright. 10, 15.
Mhm.
Electric arc.
Fantastic. Who cares about cover when can ask for a reflex save?
Exactly. So I don't think I could hit it from back here.
From back there, most likely not. You've got a big corner in the way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
electric arc, you can absolutely target from where you are currently sitting. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it is a snake. I'll give you a guess what the best save of a snake typically is.
That's okay. Take half and break.
Will.
Exactly.
Willpower, the power of will.
Hey, it is a mindless creature. Maybe it has a really good will. That would make sense, right? All right. Well, that is going to bring us back to the snake's turn. It is going to continue at this point, focusing on the only creature within its reach, Amenemsu. And it's just going to
Nemsu?
bite. Yes. Amanemsu is the only creature within the Cobra's reach that it is recognizing.
Oh.
Does it have life sense or something?
No, but
You're on the whitelist.
Nebsu may be on the whitelist for this thing. It
Tell it to stop.
perhaps recognizes what are perceived other guardians of this tomb. So it is just going to bite Amanemsu and fail miserably with a natural 1. That's a shame. So we'll do it again. Why not? There's the impact.
There it is.
For another exact 6 points of piercing damage. And of course,
And
one more time, let's get a fortitude
there it
save.
is. My luck has got to run out eventually.
Never didn't have it.
Not in this combat.
Ooh, I think he almost got crit.
Yeah. I think his venom just dried out. You know,
He only has so much of it. Let's see. I've
He's been
got...
down here a long time.
I need a 17 on the die to hit you with the third attack. I mean, it's not like there's an ally to 8 or anything. I believe in my bad luck. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And if you were to hit, you'd have a 1/3 chance of getting a crit.
I know, it'd be great. But unfortunately, it is not going to hit, which is going to bring us back around to Nebsu's turn.
All right. Fighter gonna flank.
Oh no, I sense a crit incoming.
yeah.
And there's no reason not for it to be a snagging strike.
Might as well.
So I'll make it a snagging strike and
Snagging strike only requiring a free hand, kinda wild.
swing away.
That is in fact a hit.
Dang.
No crit, unfortunately.
8 points of damage again.
8 points of damage, not quite enough to bring it down. It is
And
one good tickle away from dying.
we'll Falcata again.
Sure. Is
I
off
could
guard.
punch it, but oh,
A 7 is unfortunately not gonna do it. Which means...
no hero points. Sahara can whip it to death.
Makes sense. Sahara, this thing looks like it is on its last legs. By all
Well-
means.
I'm going to try and see if the whip will do the trick.
Let's see it. That looks good to me. I don't know why it is not registering your targeting. That is very strange. Huh. But 5 points of damage is going to be more than enough with the damage it has already sustained from Nebsu, Amanemsu, and Usala, and yourself. One more good strike with the whip just sort of wraps around its body and pretty much tears it into multiple smaller pieces, still held together, of course. But
I think I might start becoming addicted to this, killing the creature.
with that, the snake is no more.
It was the perfume.
Exactly. Perfect.
I think we're beginning.
Amanemsu, before he does anything else, is going to start feeding his snake bite. Oh, thank God it doesn't feel like I'm poisoned, but...
Yeah. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
For nice team.
Yeah.
I can do a little bit of healing. I'm not the greatest at it.
I've got healing. It's all right. But I do need somebody to help with the... Was it? I need a healer's kit. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
here, have some plaster.
I believe Sahara is able to conjure that for you. Unfortunately, Foundry isn't really going to let you do it, because Foundry
Yeah, I was going to
sucks.
say...
Just go ahead and put a healer's toolkit in your inventory.
Okay.
I will ignore the cost, because who gives a shit? It's a healer's toolkit. You guys aren't going to try and fleece me by selling the healer's toolkit when I'm not paying attention, are you?
That 5 silver might really come in
Oh,
handy.
but then I wouldn't have a healer's toolkit.
We'd have to do it like 1,000 times to make it work.
Right. I'm going to assume I'm not going to look at someone's inventory and see 500 healers toolkits sitting there at one point.
Just
Like
expand
a
it. There it is.
week 1 glitch in a video game. Like selling that painting over and over again in Cyberpunk.
New immortality glitch found in Wati's necropolis. Dirt
I think if I
cheap
picked up 10
way.
healers toolkits, I would encumber myself.
I'm surprised it would only take 10.
Hey.
I guess one of us could aid his medicine check.
Certainly, if one of you wanted to take a moment and aid, you are welcome to do so.
You do not want me to do that.
So I think Sahara is our second highest medicine user.
I will give you a hand.
I'm noticing I've picked up no dungeon skills. All my skills are for talking to people.
That's good.
It'll be good later. It's not good right now.
Wounds, there it is.
Look, once you get out of here, you gotta
I
sell
need
everything.
I need to target you before I can aid you.
Hopefully this
Yes.
targeting works. Fingers crossed.
Medicine and
that's aid PF2E macros, correct?
Yes. Because that is
at
the one
least
that
I
would
did not
auto-apply
critically
it.
fail.
Silver lining!
Yeah. Yeah.
So unfortunately, no bonus to you, Amanemsu, but as you take 10 minutes or so to try and treat your wound with a little bit of help from Sahara's healing plaster.
And I gave you the healing plaster, and every time I try to help you, my guitar, my
There you go.
loot hits you.
That is exactly.
Ooh,
Whoa.
a good roll.
That was a really good one. I'm back to full.
Look at that. All right.
They were tiny pinpricks. It was easy.
Yeah.
Got lucky.
During that 10-minute period while Amanemsu and Sahara are working on treating the snake bites, Usala and Nebsu, what are the pair of you doing?
We'll finish up my prayer.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna repeat my detect magic to try and narrow down one that's room is magical. Like that. Is this a symbol on top of it, or is it like a staff here?
That's more map. The top of the casket itself is carved in the likeness of a man.
Oh, sure, that's a man.
Yeah, it's abstract.
Mm-hmm. You'll see if the now that the snake's dead, if there's still magic in the room, and if so, if it's in like one of the chests or like not any of these objects we can blatantly see.
I tend to not quite allow detect magic to be used that decisively, simply because it does say you have to be aware of specific magic to ignore it. So just saying, I'm going to ignore this object when you're unsure if that object's magical or not, at least to me, does not particularly work, and that's more what Read Aura is specifically meant for.
Okay, that makes sense.
Once you get to
I'll
higher
just
rank detect magic, of course, who gives a shit? But at low rank, I'm going to take advantage of how inconcise or imprecise it is.
I would like to examine these these urns.
Embrace the suck.
They are. Shut up. They are funerary urns, yes.
Do they look like the ones we found before? Are they different?
No, the urns you found before were like actually wax-sealed urns with perfume. These are not full with anything, just large urns.
Canopic in nature?
Yes.
Like canopic jars?
I'll say yes. Why not?
Ooh.
Do they look like well made enough to be valuable on their own, or are they just here to be here?
They're more here to be here, I would say. The actual value is probably within the chest and in the sarcophagus itself. Those urns probably have his organs. And unfortunately, the organ trade does not particularly get use out of multiple thousand-year-old.
Don't want 2,000-year-old pharaoh liver.
If it were a pharaoh's liver, maybe.
Ground up? Actually, wasn't there
Akhentepi was a
there-
general of Wati's army back in life, from what you have surmised.
That's why he got a level 1 too.
What was your question, Amenemsu?
I was just thinking that some of the the weird trades of like ground up mummy in these tinctures and snake oil type stuff, ground up mummy, it'll cure your gonorrhea. Hey, there you go.
You would probably find those less in Wati itself, since Wati's business is in actual tools used for interment, with the Grand Mausoleum of Pharasma being such a prevalent fixture here. That sort of violation of the dead would be harshly looked down upon and punished.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, in other cities, yeah, you could probably absolutely find those. Wati specifically, that is going to be much less common, and you'd have to actively, know the right people and seek it out.
The home of the Pharasman court.
Right. There's more than one adventurer historian that has come here and asked around after that sort of thing jokingly, and been invited to dinner at the prison.
Of course, the dinner was them because they were served up to everybody who was in there.
Hey, Wadi's historical methods of dealing with criminals is fantastic.
Invited to dinner at the prison is amazing.
You can give your left eye, or you can die. Those are your two choices for recourse after you get caught committing a crime.
Hello.
Jesse!
Welcome to Hamura.
Alright, we've completed the whole dungeon. We're level
Oh
2.
my god, guys.
You have missed very little. A small fight against a iron snake, taking what loot was in the grave goods chamber, and the party is currently in what appears to be the actual burial chamber of Akhentepi at this point, and has begun sort of looking around at things.
Awesome.
Amenemsu
bit.
just stitched up two very serious snake bites. Near fatal.
Can we search this chest for traps?
Yeah, if you would like to give a general search for traps roll as well here, Usala, I'm going to go off of the one Amenemsu gave earlier as a general check. If you would like to give one as well, you are welcome to do so. That is a chest. Does not appear locked,
Right.
does not appear trapped.
What's in it?
What's in it? You're opening it, you damnable
Yeah.
fool.
Oh no.
Cool.
Opening the chest, actually, has what appears to be a set of traditional padded Osirion armor laid down inside of it. It is not particularly impressive to look at it. It is simply a traditional set of armor.
What do we assume it's Akhentepi's armor itself? Or
You could make that assumption.
is there anything underneath it or in the pockets or buried?
Yeah,
wrapped up inside?
as you pull it out and begin looking, over it underneath it, the rest of the chest is empty. Trying to look for pockets and whatnot, you don't really find any. This doesn't include an undershirt or anything. It is just padded armor.
It is the undershirt.
Basically. However, you do, with your specific proclivities, notice a few arcane runes on the interior of it. This armor is enchanted.
Excellent.
Not that you could make any use of it, but
Someone here could, I'm sure.
yeah.
If it would make Sahara look pretty, she'd wear it.
There's no skirt on it. Actually, of the
That's
time,
what
it might.
Taylor can always fix that too.
No,
Yeah. You could always find someone to fix things up, or someone just has to prepare the mending spell.
Good old restyle. Don't find anything nice over there.
Is there anything we haven't searched yet?
There is this chest. You also have not, opened up the sarcophagus, if you wished to.
I kind of feel like I'd let Ned
I'm gonna
do
go ahead and
that.
focus on the chest.
Fair enough. Opening up the northern chest and taking a look. There's no traps as far as you can tell. There is a, disintegrating cloth sack with a number of silver pieces in it. There is also a beautiful, sort of well-preserved dark wood coffer that, when you open it, has assorted gemstones in it, as well as a glass vial with this, sticky-looking brown liquid with flecks of sand suspended in it.
Do you have that alchemist kit handy?
This does not appear to be alchemical in nature. This appears to be more of the magical variety.
Oh, so I could do that. Yay.
And I do have it, but ooh, I wonder if the snake can be taken apart with crafting.
If you wanted to try and take the snake apart here, Sahara, you are welcome to attempt to do so here. See if there's anything valuable in it.
Could I aid with an Arcana roll or no?
To identify something, to take apart the snake.
The snake.
That's going to leave on crafting. If you wanted to try and identify the armor, though, you could do that with Arcana.
Sure.
So I hate to say this. You were targeting yourself, so it only showed your society modifier for that.
Oh. Good point.
What is your best magical skill modifier? So Arcana, Nature, Crafting, Occult, or Religion, Occultism. Out of those four, what's your best?
6.
+6. Okay.
+6 for Arcana, Crafting, Occultism.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Usala, go ahead and give me that recall knowledge to check the armor out. Sahara, I'm going to move you just slightly so I can grab my snake token, because I need that. Just to check some wording on it. Okay, fantastic. Usala, taking a look at this armor, you've gotten absolutely no clue what the enchantment is. Could be anything.
It's definitely just a +1 room.
Absolutely. This early, level 1 dungeon has a minor potency armor rune. Fantastic. That is certainly the case. Amanemsu, the potion is much easier to identify for you, as that is relatively simple enchantment-wise. It is a gecko potion, which gives you the ability to climb much easier and much harder to be disarmed. Not a particularly amazing potion, but hey, has some niche uses.
What is it, the Warblood? Warblood mutation? That's a really good one, too.
Oh, it's not a polymorph.
It is not a morph or polymorph effect.
Neat.
Yeah.
It is. It doesn't give you a full climb speed, which I would imagine would be valuable of the morph trait at least.
Mm-hmm.
This simply gives you a small bonus to your climb and palm and object checks, as well as your DC against being disarmed. Sahara, trying to take apart this snake, unfortunately, does not go well.
Oh no.
Between the damage inflicted by Nebsu, Amanemsu, even your whip sort of tearing it apart, it was very violently dismantled in the first place.
And the spring jumping out and trying to attack my loot made me stomp on it even more, because the spring should not be attacking my instrument.
Certainly. However, I will say, you are able to salvage. You do have an alchemical toolkit, which I imagine has a few glass vials in it for taking samples and whatnot. You would be able to salvage a single dose of the black adder venom that was set into the reservoir of this iron cobra. There were
I don't think
more
that stuff's
doses.
so potent. Oh, it's good.
There were multiple more doses set in it, but unfortunately the destruction rendered them pretty much impossible to gather, mostly just leaking out over the floor.
Well, like I said, when that spring shot out at my loot and I had to save my loot, I had to sacrifice the mechanical cobra to do so.
But if anyone cares, it is a single dose of Blackadder venom that could be made use of perhaps at some point.
I will put my hand in for that one.
Yeah.
Rogues and poison don't go together.
No, certainly not.
Definitely not.
I can always poison my my Fang unarmed strike.
Yes, drink the poison. Gain its effects.
Sticks his fangs into the pile. Load up.
It is actually, it always
So-
makes me laugh that injury poisons will technically do nothing to you if you drink them. So you could just drink it and it wouldn't do anything to you.
That's fun.
What were you about to say, Sahara?
Does anybody mind if I take one of the minor healing potions? That looks like it might save my life one day.
By all means.
Yeah, have at it.
I only need one, but I like having emergencies on hand.
Fair enough. So, that'll bring us to a little before 3:30 in the afternoon at this point, by the time you guys are finishing up with those initial identifications. Oh, Nahamura, one of the items that was found in the previous room that general consensus is it may be best for you, if you would like, is a psychopomp mask. That'll just once effectively prevent you from dying.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, I guess I'll take that.
all right. It is an invested item. It also is painted to look like Akhentepi's face, so whether you want to wear it at all times or not, up to you. But the only thing that is thus untouched at this point in the room would be the sarcophagus of Akhentepi itself, which, at the very least, similar to the other false sarcophagus that tried to eat you guys, this one is covered in gold leaf that would certainly have some value. But whether you wish to open it or not is up to you.
I
Look
say
at
we open.
Nebsu. Would you be okay with us opening his sarcophagus?
Yes. Said hesitantly.
Muhammad will step up and say a prayer before we do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just for asthma.
Nothing bad has ever happened, right? I mean, I've never read anything, 'cause, well, I don't read, but
Somehow feel I need to see his body.
And Amanansu will move out of the way. We'll come off to this side.
Yeah. As you all, some of you begin to lift the lid of the sarcophagus off and place it down to the side. After all, you are one of the few true rules of tomb exploration here is to honor the departed. If you are going to disturb the interred, you must do so with dignity and respect. Return them to their resting places once you are done. And I quote, "There is no need for the contents of a sarcophagus to be summarily dumped on the ground." This rule does not apply to the undead or other abominations, though. Keep that in mind. Go crazy against them.
That'd he sits up, we're allowed to kill him again.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, some of the gods actually require you to do that.
As you place the lid of the sarcophagus on the ground and take a look at the body within, it is a mummified figure with a golden funerary mask over their head. Where normally, when someone imagines a mummified figure, you imagine the entire body, minimum. Maybe arms folded over their chest. Very classical is the imagination that comes to most people's mind. The body before you here is not like that. While the body is still fully covered in wrappings, it is very clearly that pretty much from just next to the neck down to about their navel has been carved off of their body on the entire right side. There is no right arm on this corpse to be found.
Medicine check. Does it look like they were they like killed in battle like this, or
You would probably have to unwrap it to take a closer look.
oh,
But first and foremost, Nebsu, I need a will save from you. Seeing the corpse of your father in this state.
Alrighty. Just straight out of the character sheet.
Yep. Okay. As you look upon this form, Nebsu, there is something at the back of your mind. A thought that you don't quite remember. A memory that you have pushed off and barricaded away. For your protection, for the protection of others you do not know. That memory is attempting to break free right now. Should you choose, you can reinforce that barrier, further lock that memory away, prevent it from coming forth. You could also allow the dam to burst here, though, should you wish to remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna allow it.
Fantastic. As you all look down at the body of Akhentepi, a respected military general of Wati, from before the Plague of Madness set in, there is a loud clattering sound as Nebsu demanifests. His armor, his equipment, the sword that, as far as you understand, is him, clatter to the ground, no longer supported by anything holding them up, just out of nowhere, collapse. What do the rest of you do in this moment?
Amenemsu would rush over to the sword. Oop, okay.
I'm gonna yell out, "Don't touch it! It'll harm you."
Yeah.
Amenemsu would give her a stern look and pick up the sword, having formed an initial bond, I guess.
Yeah. Usala, are you about to say something?
Are you okay?
There is, maybe surprisingly, maybe not, no response from the sword.
Didn't expect one.
Are you still pinging Detect Magic, Usala?
Always.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, please. This can be public. And Amenemsu, I'm going to ask for a will save from you specifically for picking up the sword.
Do I have any modifiers to this?
Just flat
Oh, yeah.
Arcana.
Will save.
I'm gonna hero point that.
Will save.
16? Okay. Yeah, 16 would be a
Will
failure in
save.
this case.
Well, I got a 15.
Much better.
Oh, wait, oh no, it does the thing automatically.
Yes, plus 10 if you roll a 10 or below. I had
Well,
forgotten to
not
turn that
minimum.
on. A 19 will succeed. You are detecting a surge in magical energy right now, almost as if a sea is beginning to surge into a tidal wave directly around you.
There's a lot of magic gathering in here.
Amenemsu, as you pick up this blade, it is vibrating at a just very low frequency. Do you wish to connect yourself with whatever Amenemsu or whatever Nebsu is experiencing right now?
I will.
Okay. With that save and with Usala's check as a success as well, I will give you guys one more option. Would you like to project this into the sea of magical energy in this room for everyone to witness?
I'm not going to,
Okay.
because I don't know if this is something that he's going to want everything to see.
Fair enough.
But, you know.
Then the rest of you watch as Usala calls out this warning. Amenemsu picks up the sword and his eyes immediately roll back into his head. He does not fall. He does not drop the blade. Fuck. There's a gnat in my face. But he is very clearly experiencing something.
I'm going to start playing a soft, not lullaby, but very close to a lullaby song. To, one of those songs that you just kind of want to go to sleep to.
Sure. Sahara becomes a white noise machine.
What was that?
Nothing. Go ahead, Nahamura.
Nahama is gonna take Menamasu and kind of sit him down just in case he
Sure.
decides to lose balance or fall, and that way he's sitting down in a safe spot.
Absolutely. Don't let him hit his head.
Uh-huh.
All right. Anything else from you then, Usala?
Nope.
Okay.
Just watch them to make sure nothing's trying to hurt them, I guess.
Fantastic. Then we are going to cut to what Nebsu and Amenemsu are experiencing. The two of you immediately, slightly differing times, of course, since Nebsu, you collapsed, and Amenemsu, it was a few moments later that you actually picked up the blade, but find yourselves outside. In the desert proper, not within the walls of the city, but outside the open plains covered in sand stretching out ahead and behind of you. To the north is a beautiful, vast river moving ever forwards. In front of you are a few hundred charging figures. At first glance, they look like poorly dressed, under-equipped humans wearing nothing more than rags to protect them from the desert sun. As they approach closer, though, something appears off about them. While many of them look like normal people, you also begin to notice strange oddities. Some of them have greenish blue scales covering patches of their skin. Others have an extra joint in their leg below the knee. Others still have fur growing in mangy patches across their bodies. Very few of them have any weapons to speak of, yet prominent claws and fangs as they rush forward, bloodlust filling the air. Thankfully, neither of you, are alone, as you stand not as yourselves, but in full armor, wielding weapon and shield, surrounded by your brethren of the city guard. As this oncoming horde approaches and clashes with your lines, blood immediately begins to fill the air. An unwashed horde versus a trained squadron. Should be obvious who would win such a fight, until the enemies begin to fall. One by one, as they do so, their bodies rupture. Swarms of locusts, strange six-legged beasts, all begin to emerge from the corpses and continue to fight. It becomes a much more even encounter, until eventually this enemy begins to fall back, making a retreat back away from the city. The day is won. Until a new cry is heard from the north, emerging from the banks of the river. A new horde crashes into the side of your lines, fully unprotected, considering the only frontal assault you've been on up until now. The lines immediately begin to collapse as swathes of guard are cut down. Cries of agony calling out. Amenemsu, you are lucky. You're on the southern side of the lines. You are furthest away from where this happens. Nebsu, you are not so lucky, as your allies fall one by one around you. You begin to find yourself more and more surrounded by these foes. A new retreat is called. Fall back to the city walls. Your bodies move on instinct as Amenemsu, your training takes over. The years you've spent in the city guard. You beat a perfect retreat, defending your allies in lockstep as you make your way back to the city walls. Another of you, a more hot-headed youth who has not seen these sorts of struggles before, does not have those years of direct training, stands alone on the bloody desert. As Nebsu, you ensure your new comrades in arms escape, as many of them as possible, as you yourself are slowly overwhelmed. The last thing you see before losing consciousness is the walls of the city closing. That is where you wake up, Amenemsu. As all of a sudden, making it back into the city, seeing the door shut, seeing that lone figure still standing, still fighting, but being overwhelmed. The city gates shut, and all of a sudden, with a gasp, your eyes come back to normal. You wake up sitting against the wall in this small chamber. For the rest of you, not more than 5 to 10 seconds has passed, but Amenemsu, you feel as if you have just experienced a multi-hour long battle. Your muscles are sore. You yourself feel fatigued.
That was a trip. Is Nebsu back yet?
No. That blade is still vibrating. The vibration's growing actually a bit stronger in intensity.
And we weren't anywhere near each other, correct?
Complete opposite sides. But for the briefest moment when you were retreating back to the city, you recognized him standing alone on bloody sand, overwhelmed by enemies.
And he looked as though his manifestation, his body manifests as well, the way his sword does.
I believe that is correct, Nebsu. Is that the case?
Well, in the memory, he'd be fully human at the time. But
Yes. But appearance-wise, I believe it is similar.
Oh, the sword looks the same. Yeah.
So, you yourself have awoken, but it seems this other member of your crew has not. The rest of you see very clearly Amenemsu come back, but no idea what exactly has been experienced.
Does does the Menomasu, does he look any different? Just tired? I mean, does he look like anything's affecting him when he comes back?
He looks like Amenemsu, but he does. I'll actually leave that up to you, Amenemsu. How much does the exhaustion you are now feeling show?
I feel like experiencing dreams like these would be kind of up his alley, something that he's had experience with all this little.
More than once.
Yeah, he's shaken, visibly shaken, as though he had witnessed something. He's still processing, like he always does, through the information, trying to understand it. I think he's gonna give it a little bit to hope that Nebsu comes through before he really gets into what he saw.
Sure. Let's see. Funny enough, you are probably the most uniquely qualified person here to have picked that up and experienced that simply by your own experiences with visions pertaining to a different time in life, perhaps. You would inherently recognize that the vision you were experiencing goes further. There was effectively part 2, but whether it was Nebsu's subconscious doing it, or perhaps the vision itself, you were ejected before experiencing it. You could potentially push back in and experience the second part if you chose, but You could also rest now.
I think I'm going to rest and
Okay.
let Nebsu go through it. Prayerful watch and wait stance. Taking, yeah.
Okay. And Nebsu, remembering that battle was one thing. Remembering what came after that battle, the following days that turned into blurry weeks, perhaps months. Time was never something you had the luxury of understanding on a level with what you went through. The experiments. You were not alone, as you remember, in your confinement. There were others. Their faces begin to come back to you as these blurry messes. An attempted smile here, a tear-stained expression there, just the briefest glimpses into those who shared their misery, as one by one your minds were broken down. Various magics and alchemical concoctions forced into your systems, trying to erode what sanity you had left in that place. The faces fade one by one, just as those lives did way back when. Until eventually, it's only you remaining. The sole successful experiment of those people. And perhaps in some twisted way that could have been something to be proud of. You survived what no one else did. Hell, you even managed to maintain some of your sanity. So you thought. They needed a better vessel than some half-mad figure wandering the streets. They needed something unknown, something more insidious to do their work. And so the ritual they began, siphoning what little of you was left into something no longer human. It begins to come into sharper focus for you. The blurred faces gone, of course. But one face in particular you do remember. The face of Akhentepi. The soldiers that came with him, each of them, their faces come into crystal clear focus. The squad of Wati's finest who came to save you. And you watch as their faces one by one break in your mind. What you thought you had survived, that madness implanted in you, taking control as one by one, with a strength far exceeding what you are normally capable of, you cut down the very people who attempted to save you. ending, of course, with your own father. You disarmed him, sending not just his blade flying away, but the entire arm that was holding on to it, carving a very clearly fatal blow into him. It was that blow that finally shocked you enough back to your senses. You dropped the blade. And your father, the one person you had left who was now dying by your own hands, picked up the blade, not with anger on his face, not even betrayal or pity or anything of the such, but a simple sadness, a despair that you had not seen since you lost your sister. And the blade claimed your heart. You don't exactly recall what happened after that. Your next memory is likely of awakening in that glass case, the centuries trying to manifest a way to get yourself out of this chamber, culminating, of course, now with the, quite frankly, grave robbers who have come and alongside you now been looting the tomb of your own father. What does Nebsu feel in this moment as the memories of both your own death and the murder of your father come back to you?
Probably disbelief and a little bit of anger. A lot of anger at whoever had kidnapped me.
Their face remains a blur. Mostly. The exact features of them remain unknown. Any scars, any defining markings elude you, but there is one thing you know about them. Out of all those monstrous humanoid figures employed in that battle, there was only one who had the head of a hyena. That was who led them. That was who was responsible for the testing that was done on you. As this memory fades, not back into obscurity, of course, still there now, forevermore with you, the shaking of your blade calms down in Amenemsu's hand, but it is up to you whether you remanifest, whether you wish to speak to anyone, or whether you need time to yourself.
Yeah, I'd probably just tell Amenemsu, I need some time. Feel free to carry me out of here.
Understandable. I'll carry you. Let me know when you're ready to come.
Thank you.
And Amenemsu would get up. um, he would explain. It felt like a memory that I dropped into. I think it was probably one of the more terrifying memories that he probably went through. And when he comes back, I think he will give us the best explanation that he understands.
Should we get the hell out of this place?
Um, is there anything else in the coffin that we should be aware of before we seal it back up?
No, there's simply the body. The only thing that appears to have any value, if you wished to take it, would be his funerary mask, and perhaps the gold leaf on the coffin itself.
I'm inclined to leave it and reseal it.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think Nahama would be comfortable messing with that stuff, so I think he'd agree with you as well.
Okay.
Then let's make like a turtle and scuttle out of here.
Wise words. And Amenemsu would find some sort of a cloth or something to wrap the blade with and kind of tie it to his back.
Sure. I imagine between you guys, you would all pick up the rest of his equipment, like the half plate, the shield, the gauntlet that belongs to Nebsu as well.
No, is that not like what wild shaping does?
No, it is
or
actually not manifested alongside him. He has to actually take time to put it on.
Okay.
So
Really
all of it just
inconvenient.
kind of fell to the ground.
Okay, yeah, then yes, yeah, we would definitely grab all that equipment.
Anytime Nebsu goes down, there's a loot explosion as his body discorporates and everything on him
Yeah, no kidding.
goes into a pile. That was all that equipment was what was in the crate next to the glass case his sword was in when you found him, and he had taken time to put it on while you guys were dealing with the trapped chest and taking apart the chariot. So, as you all take some time here carrying Nebsu with you, placing the lid of the sarcophagus back on top of it, choosing to leave the body as is for it to continue its rest here. At this point, I mean, aside from those two secret doors that you're fairly certain probably connect with one another, you seem to have explored all of Akhentepi's tomb.
I suggest we leave that the secret hall unexplored, because that way we have an excuse to come back in here later, and then we can look back on this and say, remember how tough this was at one time?
Amenemsu would take a quick peek just to double check because he's a completionist.
Yeah, if you wanted to open it, you certainly could.
Yep.
What's over here?
Just for records keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You guys had no fun leaving things behind to do later.
You're wasteful.
Like how Solo walked into the blind place since you only have low light vision.
I
Yeah.
can smell the walls.
Is that what you're smelling? Yeah, as you head over and sort of push the door open, it is a rough earthen passage, not lined with masonry or anything, very clearly not like the solid construction of everything else. Sections of the wall have also crumbled in numerous areas, very likely something or some things like dug small tunnels that subsequently collapsed. You do see another one of those beetles. However, unlike the other ones, this one is just sort of like on the wall sitting quietly. Even when the door opens, it doesn't react in any way to you.
I say we close the door and come back and crush this thing in a year or 3 after we've gotten some really good magic items just to remind us how things started. If you couldn't tell, I was whispering.
It looks like just a shortcut past the trap room.
Most likely.
Yeah.
If you guys leave these beetles here and specifically come back when you're level 15, this is gonna be a level 15 beetle just to spite you.
Okay, that makes
Well,
it worth it.
Now we've got to leave.
Now we gotta keep them alive.
Hold up,
Yeah.
what is the highest level beetle
Write
stat
in
block
notes.
I had?
Level 15 beetle.
Right.
11.
The elite.
Look,
them.
I've got a level 21 gargantuan beetle. I'll run that thing here. You can't stop me.
I was
Nor
kind
would
and
I
let
want
you
to.
leave the first time.
Got a level 18 beetle called a cataclysm beetle. Fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
This is your fault.
Can we actually get out through the trap room?
Yes, the doors unlocked when the trap was shut off. The door's locking was all simply part of that trap, but there is no further locked doors in this place.
All a part of the show.
And I will open the other secret door for you guys just so we remind ourselves that you found it. But yes, it does all connect. It is a simple passageway between the two areas.
Don't want to disturb our earth elemental buddy there.
Say goodbye to
about
the
that,
sandling.
actually. Do we have one of? Amanamsu would be looking for a shiny trinket of some sort that would interest the sandling, and toss it to him.
There
Or
might
his
have been.
collection.
Oh, go ahead.
That's right, I got a shovel. We can give him a shovel.
You might need that later.
Do you have
Looks
any cool scraps of
doesn't it?
what snake?
Yeah, there were those
Oh,
like
yeah.
assorted gemstones in Akhentepi's true burial chamber. You could give it one of those without really devaluing the set you have.
We can also
Sounds
throw
good.
it the gold leaf, which is worth 25 silver.
Or not?
That's 25 silver
That's
right
like-
there.
Well, that turns into like 2.5 silver a piece. So
You guys
But
are
again,
level
when we
1.
come-
Every little bit counts.
but when we come back here at level 15 and he's a level 32 gigantic whirlwind of death, he'll remember that we tossed him some gold leaf and he won't attack us.
You guys come back
He
and
might
he's
take
going
care
to
of
be
the
a
level
copper
15
dragon.
beetle too.
He's gonna, you know what? He'll turn into this thing by the time you guys
Oh,
come
no.
back.
Yes.
A Zara
I knew that
Moon.
was
Zara Moon.
Yeah, he'll just turn into one of those by the time you return. He waves goodbye to you as you toss him
He's
a
got
little
his own
something.
beefing up montage.
Right.
Hey, I'm the one who plays the montages.
You'll get contracted, Sahara. You'll get a random letter one day that says, "Hey, come back to Akhentepi's tomb. We need some training montage music." Sincerely, the Sandling and that one beetle.
Actually, there were two in there. There's two
The other
beetles
one
in
will
there.
remain level 1.
Oh, okay. Just step
Oh,
on that
we-
one on
we
our way to
might-
the
It might come,
The other one
it might
steals
come
all
back to
food.
15 beetles.
All right. Well, as you make your way towards the exit, you of course have everything you had sort of collected up until then that you sort of moved towards the entrance, the pieces of the chariot, the coffers and coin and gems that you have picked up, the chests that have value, the urns, all of them, of course, having value that could be brought up to the surface and taken for sale. It is probably going to take a little while to get it all up there. You only had the single rope you let down in order to get out, and carrying these big heavy items up with you is certainly going to be a challenge, but I think as opposed to asking for some skill rolls for this, we can simply break it down into a general period of time it takes, unless people want to roll skill checks for this.
I'll roll a natural 1 if I have to, so I don't want to do that.
That's
I
fair.
got the climbing kit that we can
Yep.
piece together.
Yeah, as you could head back up to the top and definitely like set more ropes in for use. You could certainly tie things down here on the ground to some of the ropes to haul them up, so you don't have to try and carry them up. This will just effectively take a couple hours to get everything out of here.
However, I would like to set up some sort of watch to make sure that people are not going to steal from us as we are after we've done all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, make sure someone just stays up top the entire time.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And it would be somebody other than, and actually it could be me because I can talk my way out of it. But if they're pretty nasty, I would be the last one who wants to get into a fight right now.
My vote is you just stick Nebsu in the sand outside the door. If anyone tries to pick him up, they just get shocked.
Yeah, see, that would work.
I think Nebsu probably is not paying attention, I would imagine, to do that kind of thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say realistically, it's about 3:30 by the time you guys return back to the entrance, we'll say. To get everything up and out, I'm going to leave it up to the roll of the dice. We'll say realistically about 4 hours to get everything up, reconstruct the chariot, which will bring you to, of course, late evening. Probably doesn't take a full 4 hours, actually. I would say 2 hours is probably fine, which would give you time to return to the city and sell off some of your treasure if you so chose before doing anything else. I do, however, need a check to actually put the chariot back together to reassemble it properly and without damaging it. So whoever's best at crafting, if they would like to give that check, anyone who wishes to aid is, of course, welcome to do so.
I am pretty good at crafting. Who else was good at crafting? Because I think it was me and somebody else who disassembled it.
I'm an Emsu.
So do you want to be aided or do you want to do the aiding?
I have a +6 in crafting. I'm not.
I have a +5.
Okay. I can go ahead and do the main check if you want to do the aid.
And that was Nama.
I'm an
Who said
Emsu.
that?
Yeah, I'm an Emsu.
Yeah, I'm never going to pronounce your name, so I'm not even going to try. I can't even pronounce Tom most of the time.
Okay, Sarah.
Exactly. Why do you think I have such a weird name?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and hero point that because I have yet to use a hero point. And I roll the exact same number, but it turns into a 22.
Fantastic. So when you hero point, it does not apply the roll to, or the bonus to you automatically, Amenemsu, but that will be a +1 circumstance bonus to your check.
+1.
Yep. If you want to apply it as a button, the aid parentheses toggle in the basic action macros lets you specifically choose what bonus you yourself are gaining. Just use that if you care.
Here we go. I've had better.
A 19, more than enough. to succeed. It's not a particularly difficult check.
And I said, if I remember
so
correctly, we did a pretty decent job taking it apart too.
you did. I think a 19 was actually what you rolled. So
So we just reverse engineered it.
pretty much, yeah. One of you was smart
Re-engineered.
enough to write down the instructions as you took it apart, and then you just read them backwards.
Yeah, that wasn't me because I don't know how to write.
What?
I can read barely, but I don't know how to write.
It's all viola playing skills. Well, as you all return back to Wati proper, at least above ground in the necropolis area, you get the chariot put together, load it up with the coffers and chests and treasures you took, and are welcome to try and find a place to sell it in the city. That is where we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So stand up, stretch, grab some water, do whatever it is you need to do. And when we come back, I suppose we'll go and sell things. Welcome back, everyone. So, you all have now left the tomb of Akhentepi. It is roughly 5:30-ish in the afternoon, so most places are definitely closing up for the day. There are certainly going to be some evening shops still open, especially in the Sunburst Market and various areas around Midwife, but it will certainly take a bit of time perhaps to find somewhere to offload your treasure, unless of course you wish to hold on to it all today and try and sell it tomorrow morning.
Did we get enough
I
time to
have,
transfer to afford a room?
But I have significant knowledge about what shops would be good ones to offload as well.
Give me
being
a
a citizen of.
recall knowledge for that. And Usala, what was your question?
Without selling anything, did we get enough pocket change for me to afford a room?
Most certainly. I will also recall, I believe Sahara took a number of business cards for places that were advertising.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yes. Hey, come sell your
And-
shit to us.
And Sahara was so smart that she forgot to do what she was planning to do with those cards, and that was build little paper airplanes with them. But since I forgot to do it, I have all these business cards of all these places. What's the first one on the list? Jenny's junk. We buy cheap and give you nothing for it. I don't want that one.
You are, in fact, trained in mercantile lore, are you not, Sahara?
Yes, I am.
If you would like
That's
to roll
fun.
that for me to see if you can gather anything from these business cards as to, hey, what might be an actual worthwhile location to sell at.
I'll hero point it if I have. Oh wait, I can't. It was
Can't normally hero point on blind rolls, unfortunately. Thinking about it
Just
from
spend one and
different...
hope for the best.
I'm sorry?
I just think we can't just spend one and hope for the best.
You and Amenemsu, thinking from, different perspectives, the perspective of someone who lives here and the perspective of someone who actually knows how to buy and sell things to make profit, most of those business cards are likely not necessarily scams, but probably not the best promotions. Amenemsu, you
It's
would
in
know
Nigeria.
that you're gonna get ripped off if you try and sell in the just general Sunburst market. You would be better served finding another store, probably in the side alleys would be where you might actually find someone who will give you a good price for things. You cannot think of one off the top of your head, though. And Sahara, you look at all these business cards and go, yeah, we might be able to sell at value, at absolute best to these places. It would be harder to actually get a good deal from any of these places, though.
Didn't you hear what I read off of the first card? That's pretty much what all the cards I was assuming was going to say.
In more
Or the,
flowery words,
cards.
of course.
It won't be long before we get the. We've been trying to reach you about your card's extended warranty.
Now that you guys have a chariot, too.
Yeah.
So, for general knowledge, I would say that we would be better off to sell this stuff in the morning, but how are we going to guard it from people stealing it tonight? I mean, we have an inn to stay at, but I'm pretty sure the inn does not have security.
No. Most
So
certainly
that's
not.
gonna be, so it becomes a risk reward. If we hold off until tomorrow, we can get more money, but we risk losing everything, or we do it tonight and we risk not getting as much.
Oh, just sleep in shifts.
That's
Would
what I
I
was
know of a
thinking.
place? Would my place, my folks' place, be secure enough?
Do you have a place to put a cart? A big cart?
I mean, you could always take the chariot apart
Do
again.
I?
Cherry.
I'm gonna give a roll for that. Ha! Fantastic. You could like your parents' place. It doesn't have guards or anything, but it would certainly be less known than any normal person with unsavory motives, because most thieves would probably think to check the inns and break into inn rooms if they're going to try and steal treasures, because it's adventurers from out of town are the primary people exploring the necropolis. So your parents' plus would probably be a better place, just if you weren't going to have anyone stay up and watch it. However, you're going to be driving a chair, or at least dragging a chariot directly there. That's going to draw attention no matter where you take it.
Yeah, I was thinking, what if we threw a tarp or something over the top of it to diminish its
I could certainly
Do
help.
appearance?
we have a tarp
Mhm.
or a tent?
I have a tent.
The other option, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I have no problem sleeping in this tomb.
We could do that.
And then in the morning when the sun starts to rise, we can actually, get up and do everything first thing in the morning. Because either way, we're sleeping, but this tomb
Yeah,
might be a better place.
that sounds like a compromise we should have thought of like first. It's a much better plan.
I'm trying to play a blonde, so I'm not supposed to think of these things.
Here's another question. Now that you guys have finished your first location, do you guys want to head back to the Grand Mausoleum and get your second location now, or do you want to hold off until after you've sold everything, in which case other people may have finished their excavations and gotten their second locations already as
I
well?
think we want to send like a pair of runners to go do that while the rest stay at the tomb and guard the stuff.
Well, is
The parties.
does the would the cart be able to be pushed back into the tomb, and the tomb sealed up, and then we just come back and pick it up the next morning?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys
There you
could
go.
certainly just kind of put the cart with everything on it in the tomb entrance, seal the doors, and just come back tomorrow.
They were pretty big doors.
Mm-hmm. You would not be able to get it behind the big rolling door.
Oh yeah.
Because there's mostly just hole there, but you could certainly put it in like the initial chamber, the entrance.
If we're doing that and if we're all leaving, do we have any wax?
Are you thinking of like putting it on the door to try and
I would-
semi-seal it?
I want to wax seal the door, so if someone comes in and we know that they've come in, at least
Hmm.
they'd have to break the seal.
I-
Unique pattern in front of the door. See if it's been
See,
disturbed.
I have a great idea, and it'll work tremendously well, I think.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah. I, well, let's put something up to tell us. We can put a bit of food, something that if it's missing, we know that there's something there. But I have chalk, and if I draw this really weird, arcane-looking symbol, and with a lot of death skulls or something like that, I probably can deceive people that we put this big, huge bomb on the door.
Should bluff a giant trap.
I mean, it's a deception, but I'm really good at that.
Thinking of deception, Sahara, one thing you would probably catch on to before anyone else, if we're thinking of sealing doors and whatnot, is sand is piled up in front of the door, in front of every other tomb entrance. You guys cleared it out today, so you would probably want to spend time and, like, repile sand in front of the door to make it
Oh, I was
look
already
like it's
gonna-
been
yeah.
untouched.
I was already going to suggest that.
Yeah.
But I can put this chuck symbol on there because I've always wanted to draw an arcane chuck symbol.
I think that might draw more attention than it discourages.
I was thinking about that, but you know how much fun it would be to draw a boom. Oh wait, no, I'll put the cart inside the chuck symbol. I'll draw the chuck symbol on the ground and put the cart in it. That way, if they do break in, they'll
There
see
you go.
the chuck
That's the
symbol.
second
And
layer of defense. There we go.
yes,
How much, Sahara, would you say you paid attention when the rules for excavation were being gone over at the lottery?
there are rules for this excavation.
Fantastic.
Fair enough.
I was collecting business cards.
Would anyone else have paid attention to the rules? Just curious.
And then MC would have
Absolutely
been hanging
not.
on every word and writing it down.
Nah, I'm not even paying attention to.
Yeah. There were three main rules given. The first one is, of course, remember how this came to pass. Think on how the plague of madness was unleashed upon the city while religious authorities were engaged in infighting. The necropolis must remain a holy place. Those who engage in needless conflict and banditry are not only criminals, but accursed in the eyes of the Grand Mausoleum. The second one we went over again a little bit earlier, of course, honor the departed, treat the dead with respect and dignity. The third one's probably the most relevant to this specific situation, which is that, each structure within the necropolis is a testament to the people who lived and died in this city. Do not desecrate or vandalize standing structures and tombs. Preserve them as the memorials they were intended to be. So,
That's fair, but we could wipe
drawing
away
chalk
the
on there would be
chalk.
kind of up to you if you think that's towing the line or not. Like, unnecessary destruction, absolutely not tolerated. Drawing chalk on things, especially if you're going to plan to clean it off later,
Mhm.
it's kind of, up to you whether your own beliefs, whether that fits or not.
It might come down to the official that notices.
Most likely. If, of course, an official does notice.
Why would they go in there? It's undisturbed sand.
So, can I draw the symbol on the ground?
Oh, let's
With,
hold
with
off
lots
on
of
that.
with lots of skulls and death symbols and I don't know. I think I know what the symbol for that. What's the god's name? Uzmo Diaz.
Let's not do
Matikis?
that. Not again.
That's how you pronounce it, right?
Not again.
You should absolutely dedicate everything you find to Asmodeus. That sounds like a genius idea.
Please don't desecrate a holy site with the symbol of Asmodeus.
I can't even pronounce his name, much less know what his
Asmodeus,
symbol looks like.
Asmodeus.
Yeah, Sahara doesn't even know how to pronounce his name, much less know what his symbol looks like.
Isn't that the pentagram?
Don't help, Sarah, please.
That's six-sided, right?
Penta.
I don't. That's not what that word means.
But yes, the general pentagram is Asmodeus' symbol. It's of course got its flavor to it, but
Yeah.
the funny burning
General
star.
idea of. Yeah.
So from what it sounds like, you guys are planning to put the cart, the chariot, and everything you picked up, leave it inside the entrance tonight. Maybe draw some chalk faux symbols on the ground around it to make it look like as if it is magically ensorcelled and trapped. Shut the front doors, pile up the sand. I don't think any of you have hot wax, but I mean, you could potentially like stick soap into the cracks if you want to do Sala. It's probably the closest to wax you guys have on you.
Yeah. That'd do it.
Okay.
Because we have the wax sealed urns, we could like unseal those. If we
You
really
do.
wanted to.
You had to break the seal anyways to figure out what was in them. So they are wax unsealed urns. I could have named them, but meh.
Waxed off. Yeah.
Wax
waxed
on.
off urns. That's great.
Okay. Then as you guys take some time to do that, we'll go ahead and pop it forward to about 6:30. I will go ahead and, at the very least, hand out the coin to everyone in the party so that some of you who are flat broke can pay for an in-room tonight.
Hooray!
But I take it you all would be heading out of the necropolis at this point? Back into the city at large?
Do we want to take the straight path, or do we want to go out through the eastern gate?
We can straight path it. Banditry is illegal.
All right.
That's
If you
okay.
want to
I
make
got
the time for it.
yeah. I've got a bullhorn spell if we need help.
Certainly drawing other adventurers to your position is not a bad idea.
And the guards, the little guys.
Only if we're being attacked, though.
All right. Then as you all make your way out of the necropolis, you do every now and then like see some other people on the road or on side streets as well. Are you guys taking the exact same path you took in, or are you deviating at all?
My same path. Ooh.
Maybe not deviate a lot, but maybe deviate a little bit just in case somebody was watching us. We don't necessarily have to go clear across the necropolis from the first path, but maybe a couple of streets over.
We could do like a. Oh, but it's not do my thing.
Get the drawing tools out. Let's see where you're going.
You know, someone hadn't deleted our old road. Just something like this. Yeah. That's not too out of the way. That's not what we did last time.
No, it is not.
No, I think we came up this way last time.
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah, you came across this like main
that
road
works.
and then up this way and turned
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll work. That's a good path.
Okay. Fantastic. And so once you guys make it out of the necropolis, it is only 6:30. There is still daylight left. You guys have all been up probably over 12 hours at this point, and at work most of it. But what would you guys like to do from here? Do you have anywhere in particular you would like to go? Anywhere you would like to, or anything you would else like to do?
Let's go get our next mission.
Yes.
Yeah. You can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then making your way through, the main streets over there, can I go ahead and get some perception checks from people.
Perception on the way.
Oops. I was supposed to be almost blind.
Okay. As you all make your way down the street past some of, the market that has spread out at this point, being late evening, not many of the stalls are still in operation. There are certainly some. There are people out and about. On the roofs of a lot of buildings, restaurants use their roof space as well. The smell of hookah is in the air, as a number of the shops and inns also double as hookah bars. There is conversation and music as the city's what was once a very calm nightlife is now getting more rowdy as more and more adventurers are here.
And who have money.
Right. As you guys are going, let's see here. Yeah.
Sahara would actually like to really pay attention to which, if adventurers seem to have money, if I can kind of trace where they got that money from,
Sure.
to try and find a good place to sell things.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably better to just talk to people in that case, but trying to watch will certainly work out in your favor.
I can't talk to people. I'm no good at that.
Uh-huh. Certainly. Certainly. Well,
I can talk to people.
let's go ahead and drop you there. I'm doing some token placing. Give me a moment. I'm gonna bring you guys onto just a big old map here. For no particular reason. Don't look too deeply into it. As you are going, Nahamura, the light is blinding. Something catches your attention in particular. Down the nearby alleys, a bit behind where you passed actually to the east, you hear voices arguing, but it is less so that the voices are what catch your attention and throw you off, and more so more of a presence, a feeling in your gut that is telling you, I'm needed over there. There's something going on.
I will turn to the group and tell them, or ask, do you hear that over there? That arguing?
When it is pointed
Perception
out
check?
to you. No perception check necessarily needed. When it's pointed out to you, you guys can make out the voices speaking in Osiriani, of course, arguing. You can't quite make out what's being said, but you can hear them.
I do. I hear that. And it seems to be coming from around the corner over here.
So I feel like I'm needed over there. Would you perhaps accompany me? I'd hate to go myself.
Well, let's go to the bathroom.
Party partners.
Are you guys approaching openly, or are you attempting to, stealth closer at all? What sort of methodology are we working with here?
Oh, I'm not going to really be stealthy about it.
Sure.
Yeah, Nahama's not really a deception type person. I think he would just be like, "Oh, I'm needed over there. Let's go over there and see what it is." I think he just headed that direction.
Fair enough. Then you are free to move. I will pause you as necessary. And that's where I'm going to pause you. When Nahamura reaches that point, I'll just ask where everyone else is as you make your way towards the top of these stairs, heading down a bit, Nahamura, and you can see there is, a number of merchant carts kind of left there for now. Merchants will typically leave their stuff, the carts in the alleys, and then go pick them up when it's time to pack up at the end of the day to carry everything. There's a small fountain there. You don't see what the voices are coming from yet. What you do see is a crocodile, an albino crocodile, kept in a large cage right now. That is remaining relatively docile at the moment, but it's an albino crocodile. Give me
Is that similar to the crocodiles that live in the that main quarter?
Give me
they're
a recall knowledge.
good lot there.
Yeah. Nahamura and Amenemsu, both of you would recognize this crocodile as one of the crocodiles that lives in the Golden Lake nearby, which is, these are long-lived cousins of common crocodiles found in Osirion's rivers, and typically pose little threat to tourists or residents, but they are considered sacred to the Pharasman Church here in Wati. They should not be away from the Golden Lake like this, especially not in a cage.
It smells fishy.
I seeing that he's gonna try to wave Amenasu and the rest of the group forward, and he's gonna move forward towards that. He does not believe that should be in a cage.
Yeah. As you come around the corner a bit further, and I'll just pause you there, people can move themselves to where they are when Nahamura reaches that point. You do see a pair of individuals in front of the cage right now, both of them dressed in light armor, what is just lightly armored. They have bows and blades at their sides. Nothing about them particularly stands out to you at the moment, aside from what your general thug might look like on the side of the road. Stranger than that is the other pair of individuals they're arguing with right now, who are a pair of what you would recognize as Vanara, effectively monkey humans, for the very general description of them, that also have bows and blades at their hips as well, and are currently arguing. As you come around the corner and actually are able to start listening, you hear them mention, that price is far too high, by no means what we agreed upon.
He's gonna speak up now. He's gonna be, "What's going on over here?" As he slowly walks forward.
Yeah. One of the closer Vanara is going to turn to you. The other two, like, thug-dressed guys kind of definitely jump as you guys come up and start speaking. The two Venara both, like, turn to look at you, pay attention to you, do not seem surprised by your approach. We are simply making a business deal. Something that is, I believe, of no importance to you.
You are disrespecting the Lady of Graves by having a creature in a cage. By disrespecting her, you are disrespecting me as well.
Oh, well. I'm so sorry you feel that way, but we are purchasing this creature on legitimate business such that we may take it home with us and allow it to propagate and spread the Lady of Graves' worship further.
Legitimate,
This is all
legitimate
sanctioned
business
by the church, is
done.
it not?
Legitimate business done in the dark back alleys does not seem legitimate to me.
And Amenemsu, what were you saying?
They were asking about they're properly sanctioned by the church to be doing this.
Gotcha.
See, you have some sort of paperwork for this?
In response to you, Nahamura, well, of course, this was where we were asked to make the purchase. I cannot be taken as a problematic, sacrilegious figure for simply acquiescing to the demands of the seller, can I?
Judging by the look of that. Oh.
Sahara is going to jump up on the lip of the water well or the water fountain, and she's going to look at him and say, "Oh, how much is it? What's a fair price for that beautiful animal? I'll pay for it."
And what were you about to say, Nahamura?
I was about to say, judging by the look of the crocodile, you must have, the Grand Mausoleum must be approving this, but he cuts himself off when Sahara
Okay.
starts to speak.
Yeah. One of the thug-looking dudes will actually be like, yes, actually, we are doing this under sanction, not just from the church, but from the keeper of the crocodiles of the Golden Lake. This was an agreed-upon deal far in advance.
Perception check on the.
Yeah, anyone who wants to sense motive at this point. And turning to you, Sahara, he will go. And as for price, this is not a simple deal of anyone who wishes to pay for one of the white crocodiles can do so. It was a legitimate transaction handled through the church.
I'm going to jump up on the second lip of the fountain.
Okay.
Which church is that?
The Grand Mausoleum.
Oh,
If you
tell
would
me about that church.
please
Tell me about
stop
that church.
standing in the middle of one of our city's fountains, making a
I'm not standing
mockery
in
of
the
its
middle of the
construction.
I'm standing on the lip, and I was going to start dancing, and I was going to give you a good song to play to.
You're going to fall and injure yourself. I have to ask you, please stop before I call the guards over.
Oh yes, please call the guards over. I would like that very much.
I can't see the deity I worship is by the name of Aphrodite, and she is like the water goddess of dancing, and I am forced to dance whenever I'm near water.
Give me a deception check for that.
Can I insight check her? I don't think that's true.
It isn't.
Holy shit.
Deception should pretty much always be blind. I forgot to mention that.
I realized that after I pushed
Yeah,
the roll.
no
button.
worries,
Do you want me to
I'll-
re-roll?
No, I'll keep it for this because it's funny.
Okay.
Just for general reference, deception, stealth, and perception should pretty much always be blind unless I say otherwise. I mean, the rest of you can probably immediately go, that's bullshit. But for a brief moment, you're like, I mean, she makes a good point, and who are we to judge? We don't know. But then you're like, no, there's no way that makes sense. Sahara hasn't done anything like that up until now. I'm fairly sure the rest of you might have even seen a holy symbol on Sahara's person, but I'm not certain, so I will not say for sure. But in regard to the sense motive checks from earlier, Usala.
Yes. Can
Funny,
I do another one actually when they threaten to call the guards?
you won't need it. You natural 20'd.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Solid.
These people are absolutely full of shit. This is an illicit deal going on. Now,
Right.
if there's one thing you do gather, they're actually not being deceitful. When they say that the Crocodile Keeper agreed to this deal, they're being honest about that. So this deal was set up in advance, is a legitimate deal, but at the same time, there is absolutely no way the Church of Pharasma okayed this. This is being done under the church's nose.
Interesting.
As you say, please do call the guards over, they get a little flustered.
Then go ahead.
Yeah. You know what? Wait here. I'll go get him.
Like we walked past one on the way in here, I think.
Yeah.
It's just around
There
the
should be
corner.
plenty of them around.
Sahara's gonna start playing and dancing.
Oh my god.
Is the lock to the cage? Is it facing away from us or facing towards us?
It is facing away from you. It is on the northern side of the
Okay.
cage.
I guess if she makes a good distraction, maybe a minister could go pick it, but he'd have to go around the cage. So
You know, in response to you guys being like, yeah, we'll go get the guards, and Sahara beginning to sing and dance, absolutely, I'm assuming doing so in a loud enough way that it would draw attention.
You're an absolute menace.
I will actually ask for, from Nahamura specifically, a blind religion check. Actually, no, this can be public. Fuck it.
okay.
16, that is an exact success. Well, Sahara, the idea of getting guards is certainly not a bad idea, if this is indeed anything legitimate in any sense of the word. And even just the idea that, you know, some residents of Wati are attempting to sell one of the, you know, sacred crocodiles. Drawing a bunch of people's attention to it might not be a good look. While, you know, some people might be like, oh, thank you guys for dealing with it, there's probably going to be equally as many people who are not happy that so much attention is being drawn to an obvious wrongdoing.
Yeah. Sahara, I appreciate what you're doing here, but maybe we do it with attracting as little attention as possible.
Maybe we handle this ourselves.
Oh, I was gonna use the bullhorn, but if you want to handle it ourselves, that's fine.
Who in the party is the best in intimidation?
I have a +7.
I got a +7 as well.
3. Yeah.
I got a +4.
Sahara, I'm going to ask you to lead the role. Nahamura, I'm going to ask you to aid Sahara if you would like to on an open intimidation check here.
An open intimidation? I was
Yep.
about ready to roll that secretly.
No, this can be public.
No, just roll it. You may use the 8 act.
You can just roll it at this point.
I am going to. Even though I probably succeeded, I'm actually going to re-roll using the
Yeah.
hero point because I want to be.
Fish for the
Oh,
crits.
yes. I have a
Works.
reputation to maintain, and that's the blonde who nobody can know what's going on.
With everything that just went down in this short period of time, from Sahara jumping up continuously, bamboozling everyone with claiming to have to dance in water at all times, to the rest of you going, yeah, we'll bring the guards over right now. Where's the closest one? Hold up, let us do this. The two thug-looking guys are going to just immediately run. They're going to not say anything else. They're just going to pack up and run. The two Venara are going to look at you all with curious expressions on their face. Well, this is certainly an interesting situation. Might we ask why you have interrupted our deal?
I interrupted it because our friend cleric here said he wanted to check something out, and I trust his feelings, especially when I assume his goddess talking to him. It is a god, right, or is it a goddess?
My goddess, but thank you. Yes, I could tell something was not right. That albino crocodile belongs in the hands of Plasma in the Grand Mausoleum. Whether you believe it was sanctioned, it was not sanctioned by the church, and therefore what you're doing is illicit, and I cannot allow it to proceed.
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check, Nahamura. If anyone wants to aid this, they may.
I would love to aid.
Is this a private or public?
This is public. Most of the time, unless I say otherwise, it'll be public. It's just specifically that deception, deception, stealth, and perception should be blind unless said otherwise.
Aid diplomacy. Go.
Fantastic.
Let's go.
Okay, so that'll be a +2 to the roll you gave, Nahamura, bringing your total to 20. The two Venara will look at one another and get, small smiles on their face. Well done. Who are we to disrupt the dealings and the beliefs of the church? You'll have to forgive us for not knowing, and we will be on our merry ways.
My name is Jessica. What's your name?
The one who's been, leading the talking is going to look at you. A good old enterprising eye. Sula.
Sula. Okay.
And then the two Venara will walk away. And leave you guys here on your own with a caged up white crocodile.
I need to move away from that crocodile that'll eat me in one bite.
I
was actually starting to
appreciate
get a little
you guys.
scared.
I appreciate you guys having my back. I could not let that go by. I will return the crocodile to the Grand Mausoleum if you guys would like to continue on and get next assignments.
You guys are heading to the Grand Mausoleum for the next assignments, is the great thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it gonna take time to? Is the crocodile calm enough to where I can just take it out of its cage and walk it?
Have wheels.
The cage itself does not have wheels. There's actually a nearby cart that it was likely brought here on. There's even a tarp that would have likely been put over it so people could not see what was in here.
Would it be best for me to just stay by the crocodile and have them send somebody to come get it?
There it is. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea.
Not a bad idea.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just stay here
You
if
would
you guys would like to
inherently...
send somebody.
You would also, both Amanemsu and Nahamura would know this, that the white crocodiles here are actually relatively docile compared to regular crocodiles. They are, and part of it is because they are regularly fed and cared for. So they generally pose little threat to tourists or residents of the city. Granted, that's when they're in the lake. They don't really exit the lake of their own volition too frequently. Every now and then, one might leave and wander around the city before it's corralled back, but rare is the case that one actually attacks someone.
Real quick, I
Foreboding.
apologize. What was her name?
Sula.
Sula. That's what I
S-U-L-A.
thought it was. Sula. I'm putting it into my enemies.
The random
I'm
Venara.
sure,
Got a lot of
I'm
enemies.
sure that would not be the last time we see him.
She's my first, and I have plans, and I need to check to see if these plans will actually work. And she gets me my first victim.
Let's start noting down names I come up with. Fantastic. Recurring enemy, random Venara. Noted. All right. Yeah, then if Nahamura, you wanted to stay and wait here by the crocodile while the rest of you head to the mausoleum and both let them know about the completion of your initial work as well as this situation, you are welcome to do so.
Nahama would also hand over the notes he took of the tomb so that they could turn it in with everything else.
Fantastic.
Amenemsu would collect it and add it to his.
I will add my notes as well.
I'll ask for the roll for it now then. Everyone who was like mapping, taking notes of the things you guys found, I would like a society check, please. Unless you think you have a very good relevant lore skill as well, I will accept that.
Blind or no?
Nope, this can be public. You are allowed to hero point this. You may want to hero point this.
I may want
Wow.
to this. Thank goodness. God.
Better. Much better.
There you go.
There we
So
go.
Wow,
many
that's a
nat
lot
20s
of
tonight.
20s.
Goddamn. Okay. Yeah. Between the three of you, you have compiled very comprehensive notes, probably to the best standard the church would want, and probably above what they would expect from most adventurers. You will receive the most you can from those rolls.
Right.
For your note taking.
And the notes had pretty pictures in them too.
That was Sahara's contribution.
Yes.
Fantastic. From everyone heading to the Grand Mausoleum, so everyone except Nahamura effectively, can I get one more perception check as you make your way through the market streets back towards the mausoleum?
Is it uncouth for me to be detecting magic repeatedly in town as we're just sprawling about?
I mean, it would be hard to get anything great from it because you'd be pinging it decently frequently. It is also not a subtle spell, so you'd be walking around with people knowing you're just constantly casting magic. It's a bit
I'm
of a
not
faux
expecting to get
pas.
information. Okay. Like, if it's impolite, I would not be doing it.
You could do it, and people probably wouldn't say anything to you about it, except maybe like a guard or two might question you, but people would definitely be judging you for it.
Then
And you ain't going to get anything from it. Anything useful.
But yeah, it'd just be for fun, not for like results.
Okay. As you guys make your way to the Grand Mausoleum, Amanemsu, you are going to notice from one of the nearby rooftops a specific group of 4 individuals, all sort of like sitting around a table near the edge that seem to be watching you guys as you leave that alley and head towards the mausoleum. Specifically, I don't think you guys can see them from where you are, but if you make your way gradually westward, I can ping where they are. It would be, these four individuals are sort of watching with open interest, not really hiding it. They very clearly are dressed like adventurers. They have armor, they have equipment, and they're just sort of like sitting up at like an upstairs bar, just kind of talking amongst themselves, watching outside, and they certainly lock eyes with you and don't say anything, but just keep watching.
Anything identifiable about them?
At quick glance, their group appears to be made of like a human, a dwarf, another human, and a catfolk. Would be the immediate thing you notice, just like based off of who they are. 4 males, 1 female. They appear at the moment pretty intoxicated.
Can I do a sense motive? Are they just faking it? Their intoxication, or are
Sure.
they just...
Yeah. DC is gonna be pretty high because you are looking from a distance, but you can certainly attempt to. It's hard to tell from this distance. They certainly seem intoxicated. You don't see anything that points to them being otherwise.
Okay. That's interesting. Onward.
Yeah. You guys continue your way through the streets, making your way a few more blocks back to the Grand Mausoleum itself. Pushing the doors open, heading inside once more to that wonderful sort of quiet open hall. There are a few priests walking about quietly, a few other general citizens of the city who have come in to pray or contemplate. And I'm sure you might recognize a few of them, just maybe neighbors or people you've come across during work. There are currently no other adventurers in here, but you do see like the table near the far end that has the 2 urns on it. Actually has a 3rd urn on it now. And the 2 people appear to be filling that urn, the people you saw yesterday who were preparing.
Hi again, we're back.
Oh, hello. Welcome
You
back.
glad to see us? We brought pretty pictures and scribbling notes.
I'm ecstatic to see you back.
Oh, I was so concerned that you would not be happy to see me.
What brings you back? Was your investigation too challenging? You've given up
No, we
on your
finished it.
You finished your location.
Yes, and we have notes and maps and other things like that that are supposed to be helpful for you, and we have a questioner for.
One thing at a time.
When we get to the Grand Mausoleum, does it appear that people have noticed that the giant albino crocodiles have gone?
No.
No. Interesting.
And I'll pop us back onto the Wati map. So generally, like, 4 here on the map is the Golden Lake where the albino crocodiles live. And it is across the road and a slight distance from the mausoleum proper. Like, I don't know, 150 feet at the closest points. So they're quite close to
wouldn't
each
be all
other, but
that
it's not
far.
like they live inside the mausoleum.
Right, right.
Well,
While they're working on getting the new new location and dropping off notes, I'll talk to one of the probably one of the more prominent clerics, someone who you would want this to go to about it.
I will leave it up to you. Would Amenemsu want to leave it to a regular person, or would she want to try and grab... Like, there's a couple people you could think of off the top of your head. There would be Nacht, the sort of head of the Voices of the Spire, which is the military division of the church. There would also be Sebti the Crocodile, who is just directly the head priestess. If you wanted to go to, like, the top for this matter, you could try and do that. If you wanted to just grab a normal cleric, though, you could do that as well.
He would definitely go to somebody who would be able to handle this appropriately. So maybe not Thubti, because she's probably got a lot more important things on her hands. But what did you say, the sort of, not the militant wing, but
The Voices of the Spire,
yeah.
they are effectively like the militant wing. They are the ones in charge of keeping the necropolis generally free of undead. They would not be like the city guard, but they are those who actually train for combat in the church.
Okay.
Wars.
We'll come back to you, Amenemsu, because there's actually going to be someone specific, I think, who takes notice of you and makes their way over. But to Usala and Sahara, the two of you, speaking with the two very tired-looking attendants who have been mostly in charge of the lottery thus far, they will begin, asking for any notes, any report you have. They'll ask for the name of the group, what your location was, of course, just so they can note it all down.
Oh, I wonder what he's doing. Okay, well, that takes one of the things off my list of things to do. Yes, we have notes for you.
All right. That is quite a lot of documents. You went through a decent amount of paper on your work today.
And I look at Amanatsu and say, what was our team name again? I forgot it.
Silver Masks.
That sounds right.
Okay. And we're the Silver Masks?
The Silver Masks. And can you confirm for me what your location was, please?
Oh, some general. I'm going to have Amanatsu here tell you, because I don't remember names of places and things like that. I'm here to be pretty and to find money.
She will look at you, Usala, assuming you are this Amenemsu.
The tomb of give me a second. Akhentepi.
Tomb of Akhentepi. They'll flip through a couple documents. Everything does appear to be in order. Wonderful. Locations will be given out. I assume that you all would like to continue with a secondary location. One slightly bigger and more dangerous.
Yes.
Of course.
You're certain?
We are absolutely certain. The 5 of us want to go on and do more.
This year there are 4.
There's 2 of you right now.
Our party is 5.
You must have lost a number of members today. I apologize for your loss. Well, we will be holding a smaller lottery tomorrow morning here in the mausoleum for groups that have thus far finished their first locations. You are welcome to arrive between the hours of 8 and 9 in the morning for that lottery to occur. We will also hand payment for your taken notes then as well. I assume this is amenable?
Yep.
Yes, but you have to answer one more question.
Gods. What is your question?
Who is a reputable buyer of the goods that we found? And I said reputable, which should surprise you with the word that I used.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big word for.
I looked it up. We met her in the library.
Oh, that's an interesting role I just gave them. I am going to ask for a diplomacy check from one of you, please. The other may aid if they would like.
I will make the diplomacy check since I'm doing most of the weird
Yeah.
talking.
I'll aid you.
Yeah, will this be private or public?
Public. Don't forget to wait for the aid. We've got fun buttons that apply it automatically.
Yay, buttons.
Diplomacy aid.
Okay, Usala.
Like a Bosch.
So
That's
they
like
rolled a
a-
nat 1. Which I was debating, are they going to give you either really good information or really false information? Based off of those rolls, they are going to determine that the fact that you seem to have lost over half of your group, you're going to need help with the funerary costs. So they're going to tell you a good place. Just
I was planning on doing a motive to see if they were lying to me or not.
yeah, I'll tell you without the roll just above.
Yeah.
They're gonna be open and honest with you here.
I like that
There is
assumption
open
isn't it-
pity on their faces.
Their assumption isn't that half of our party went to the inn to rest, and no, they died.
They died. They just assume you died, and they think you're Amanemsu. Go
Fine.
out east just a block or so and down one of the first alleys. You'll find a small shop going by the Silver Ankh as its name. The owner's a bit eccentric and just set up shop recently, but they are buying at good value from what I'm hearing. Anything that comes out of the necropolis.
East Alley is the Silver Ankh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to give a donation to the two of you so that you can wet your whistle with some sort of alcoholic beverage tonight. I'm going to slip each of them a silver.
Oh my god.
I'm not above bribery.
Bribery! A single silver piece.
Neither of them will touch the silver on the table.
You mean I got to put it back?
They will both look at you, slide the silver on the table, look back up at you. All pity is gone from their face, and they actually both look angry now.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to make you angry. I thought you
Thank you for your time. You are welcome to leave.
have a good night.
That went well.
They'll just continue to stare at your back as you walk away, no
Oh,
longer talking to
no.
you.
I could have swore they drank every time, and wasn't this the place of the drunk god?
Where do you drink that you can get a bottle for a silver piece?
Usala, you also immediately know Sahara is talking about Kate and Kayleen, a very different deity.
Oh,
I have no religion and I have very low wisdom, so I'm treating myself as I have no religion whatsoever.
I
Uh,
was expecting them to be like 5. I thought it was 4.
Yeah, well, with the there's
And then I
4
just had
names
this.
written down on our.
I just had this image in my head of him reforming and going, "I'd like to speak to the manager of the grave robber of my father."
who authorized?
well, you can still do that since I believe you're with Amenemsu right now, who Amenemsu, as you watch your other two group members sort of beeline towards the center area and begin conversing with the two tired-looking acolytes there, and you start looking around for a higher-ranking priest, perhaps, that you could speak to on the matter. You suddenly realize there's someone standing right next to you who was not there a moment ago.
Ah, hello.
Hello there.
Is it somebody who works at the? Can
Uh,
you describe them?
I can indeed, especially because this person is very strange and very memorable based off of their appearance. Because it's less of a person you're looking at and more the silhouette of a person.
Oh,
On the smaller side, a bit more wiry, but there's no color. They're almost just a black shadow of a figure rather than an actual person standing alongside of you. However, they are wearing a robe of black and white that actually helps you know that, no, that's a person that's standing there. And believe it or not, I might even have art for you for them.
Oh,
Just because
ooh,
I
love art.
can. Yeah. They look a little something like this.
Cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Taking them in. I am sorry. Do you work here?
I am indeed a member of this organization, yes.
Yes. I had a uh, bit of information that was needed to be passed on to the church. Um, Sensitive of nature, but also
Dealing with your encounter out
time.
in the city, I presume.
It was, yes. It seems someone had gotten a hold of one of the albino crocodiles and was attempting to sell them.
Yes.
Um,
We are greatly appreciative of your efforts to put a stop to that.
yes. The Furthermore, I think it should be also noted that it seems one of the caretakers was also in on the exchange as well. Did not get a name, unfortunately.
The church is well aware of that as well.
Oh, excellent. Okay. One of my compatriots is currently with the crocodile, and I believe uh, they're ready to.
A few trusted
Back.
priests have already been dispatched. There's no need to worry.
Excellent. And my name is Eminem Sue. May I ask of yours?
I go by Temenib. It is a pleasure to make
Temenib.
your acquaintance again.
Do I have any knowledge of Temeneb?
Give me a recon knowledge, because this is a strange individual.
Mm-hmm. How do you forget such a strange individual?
Interesting. Okay. Temenib is a weird figure here in the Grand Mausoleum, because you've lived in the city your whole life. There have been times where she is here, and there have been times where she is completely gone. From your understanding from the people you have spoken with, Temenib lives sort of detached from time slightly, and sometimes it worsens, sometimes it becomes a bit more stable. So her timeline is very messed up, and so there are times where she's meeting you for the first time for you, but she's actually had, a year or two of conversations knowing you, just in her
This
time.
is a really this is like kismet,
Temenib is a
I'm
time
a-
oracle, specifically.
Ooh,
Oh.
So
this would be rather interesting.
she
Many times
is.
have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just from was it Amanimsu's background and just how many times have they actually?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You would specifically know that Temenib is effectively like the church's head of exorcisms.
Cool.
And also revelations, just on occasion, when that's necessary. Hasn't had as much prevalence in the last 100 years or so since,
Right. Yeah.
someone bit the bullet. But
Hank created the ape.
yes. Is someone who has both effectively lived for a very, very, very long time and also could have been born yesterday for all we know. So they will always act like they know you, whether they actually do or not. But
What's the there's an elder that's also like that. One of the Fey eldest.
I don't
remember
recall
the
off the
name
top of my head, but she is specifically a sylph. So she is Fey in origin as well.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that's one of the interesting ones. It's like it's like multiple beings as one that have lived countless lives. Yeah, it's a really interesting.
can you give me a
Really
sense
interesting
motive check,
thing.
Amenemsu, as well?
Sure.
And Nebsu, if you're paying attention at all to anything that's been going on, you could make that check as well. I don't know how retracted into yourself you are at the moment.
What kind of check was it? Sorry.
Just a sense motive.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna give myself a penalty.
Sure. I think -4 is generally what the unconscious penalty is.
That's just perception, right?
Yep.
Sense motive, yeah.
Teleport people across the map. Okay. Yeah, neither of you are going to pick up on something here just through this conversation. It definitely seems like the church knows what's going on and they even know who's connected. But it does not seem like they're saying anything else to you on the matter right now, unless you wish to probe further. But
Any interesting news that you might have heard from the goings on? It's quite a bit of interesting information coming out of the Dead City, I'm sure.
I think I will leave that to your imagination. There
I
is
can imagine a lot.
quite a number of interesting stories coming out. I imagine many of the most successful groups are staying where your friends are. There'll be quite a party tonight.
Indeed. Well, since you have the crocodile situation handled, I believe my compatriots and I will regather.
She just sort of nods, and then the next second she's gone. As you, at this point, turn and notice that there is a cold stare coming from the two acolytes as Usala and Sahara both walk away. And all of you regroup by the door.
Do?
We
Don't
talked.
ask, I won't tell.
You let Sahara do all the talking, didn't you?
I
We should
let
advise
and
you.
couldn't stop are two different matters entirely.
I offered them a drink. It was a donation for their assistance. How was I to know that there were a bunch of teetotalers?
Yeah.
They're
So,
clerics.
future reference: clergy and drinking don't often mix.
What about that one god that drinks nothing but drinks?
That's a rare exception.
But an exception exists.
It does. However, you could put this in proportions. Proportionally speaking, there's more that don't than do. It's okay. We'll learn this. We'll keep going.
I thought that's why they called it a sacramental wine. Or was it a sacrifice wine?
Might be a
Either
different
way,
religion in a book.
It's a Sacramento wine.
I
California.
wish I would
Smells
have
like
thought
kind
of
of
that.
pepper.
Little sangria.
But they gave me a really good place to go to sell all our stuff.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, luckily we got
let's,
this information
collect-
before you offended them.
Yes, but it was not my intention to offend them. It was my intention to say thank you very much.
Well, you know what they say
wasn't
about
even-
best laid intentions.
Yes, I wasn't even trying to bribe them or anything.
Let me guess. You put money on the table.
Yes.
Just the silver apiece.
Yeah. Well, they're officials, and they can't take money. Well, you go before something else bad happens.
At this moment, you guys walk past the donation box at the entrance of the church.
That is the yeah.
Oh, is that where I'm
There you-
supposed to put it?
Yes.
Bingo.
Okay, well, 2 silver are going to be dropped into there because I really thought I was trying to help.
I'm really tempted to tell you to wave at them and then mime putting the coins in the box. But also that might just backfire horribly.
What do you mean might?
It's a 100% might.
100%.
One of the silvers has a string attached to it.
Not the string.
This isn't a suicide booth.
Oh God.
All right. At around the same time this is happening, Nahamura, you are waiting with the crocodile still, and it's actually remaining relatively quiet. One of the merchants maybe comes into the alley to grab their cart and just sees you next to the cage with an alligator. Eyebrow shoots up, but doesn't say anything to you about it. And after maybe about 5 minutes, not enough time that the group could have gotten to the mausoleum, told someone, and people were dispatched to you. This is actually around the time the group should be getting to the mausoleum. A trio of city guard with open symbols of pharasma around their necks approaches you.
Oh, friends.
You must be Nahamura Sefu, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. You're a bit earlier than expected. I don't believe my friends would have got there in time to tell you the situation.
The one who made you aware of this activity about to go down let us know simultaneously, and we rushed here as quickly as we could. Thankfully, you were closer and could prevent this from happening.
The Lady of Graves' wisdom guides our steps. We only need to listen.
Indeed it does. We will take over from here. Thank you for your service. And one of the guards will actually pull out a small pouch of jingling coin. Normally hirings for this sort of intervention are done in advance. Thank you for your rapid response. Please accept a late payment for your efforts.
Would I know if that's customary to accept money from the
Ooh.
church on something
Uh,
like this?
Give me a recon knowledge. DC is going to be kind of high because this deals with workings of the church that you might not be aware of.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Unfortunately, you're not entirely certain. I mean, there are things they mention that definitely grab your attention, saying that they normally hire people for interventions like this in advance, means this isn't a one-time off thing.
Okay.
But also, there must be some reason they can't just stop it from happening in the first place. There's probably some pretty complicated, like, political movements behind whatever's going on, but generally, if they're saying they hire people in advance, typically, that would include payment for it, so it doesn't seem off that they're offering payment. If you wanted to give me a sense motive here, you could.
That's
Just to see if
exactly what I was
they're...
about to ask for.
Yeah, just to see if they're actually being on the up and up. I was almost a nat 20. They do seem to be genuinely angry toward, like, when they see the crocodile, there was anger on their faces at it being in the cage, it perhaps being about to be sold, and general relief and thankfulness on their faces when they're talking to you. So they definitely don't seem to be deceiving you in any way.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not a handler. I didn't feel safe unlocking and giving the crocodile some space.
That's quite all right. And one of them will walk over and use the butt of their sword to actually just smash the lock and open the cage. The crocodile will, after a minute, sort of waddle out of the cage and free, look around. One of the guards will, like, pull out a bit of meat, and with the other two guards at the side, they will begin sort of leading the crocodile back to the lake in such a way that actually is exactly as you guys have perhaps seen crocodiles being led back before. General knowledge is that crocodiles just leave on occasion, wander into the city, and have to be led back. How many of those times were they leaving willingly, you wonder?
Yeah. So Nahama will take the pouch of coins and just pocket it, not even looking at it.
Yeah.
For him, the money wasn't the thing, but he will take it back to the rest of the group.
Yep. I'll go ahead and dump it in the party stash for now. It is 15 gold in total.
Wow.
For this.
I mean, if they're headed back to the mausoleum, back to the where the crocodile belongs, knowing I'm headed that way too, I'll just walk along with them.
Sure. And eventually, as you know, they sort of make their way to the lake itself, you split off towards the mausoleum as the rest of your compatriots all seem to be leaving. And all of you sort of meet back up, just generally outside of the mausoleum.
He will tell them that there was a reward for that, and he will hand the put coin over. Thank you all again for standing up and helping with that situation.
I didn't have any problem with it, but I am upset at you that you didn't tell me that your fellow priests don't drink alcohol.
Not Not all of them have been through what I've been through. The alcohol helps me get out of my own head.
Apparently, I got in trouble because I offered him alcohol.
And you hear the longest, deepest sigh, and a face and a hand to the face of Nahama. Like, ah.
The face to hand maneuver.
The group
Who was
face
supposed to be
palming.
watching you?
Why is your forehead so red?
So we have a choice. We have to sell all the stuff tomorrow morning, but we have to be back here by 8 a.m. to be first in line to be able to pick our stuff. So we have a long thing ahead of us, but I'm feeling like I want to bard off tonight. But I really think we need to get up early, so I got to avoid doing that. So when we get back to our inn, would somebody like drag me upstairs and force me into my room and lock the door behind me? Because if I start hearing bard music in the inn, I'm going to join it, and that means I'm not going to sleep at all.
What's gonna stop you from climbing out the window, going through the front door and doing it anyway?
I mean, you do put a rope out the window, don't you?
I can do that? Damn, I didn't think about that.
I will
No,
be-
don't
It's
enable.
a precedent. I mean,
I will be down in the main entry area anyway. If you want to stay down there for a little bit, and then I'll make sure you go up with me when I go up. If you want to bud out some tonight.
I
I've also
assume that
been-
there's going to be another bard in the inn, and I was gonna challenge them to a true bard off and have two bards going at it in like a competition.
a dueling of bards, one might say.
Yes, a duel of bards.
That
But
would be a joy to watch.
as long as somebody takes control of me, because I'll go all night, and then we won't be useful tomorrow. And I really want to be useful tomorrow because I actually like the fact that we can make some money. This is new. My sister always made all the money, and so this is new for me.
I I will make sure that when I go up, you're with me. I will not leave you down there alone.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I can't be trusted with things like this. Parties and celebration, they just sound so much fun.
If half the groups were as successful as we were, there will be quite a bit of partying tonight.
So remember, we have to get up early to sell the stuff. Then we have to get up early and go back and get our next mission. And then we have to buy stuff for our new mission because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to buy stuff for our new mission.
Well, as you all begin making your way back, I suppose, to the Tooth and Hookah, where there is apparently to be celebration had tonight by the best of the best adventuring groups, the others who also managed to finish their site exploration in one day and who realistically are the biggest competition? Question mark? Everyone's got separate places to explore, so competition, if that's really a thing. But as you all make your way back to the Tooth and Hookah, that's where we're going to hit level 2.
Right.
So, that is also where we will end off for tonight, as that is a good stopping point. Instead of going just a little bit into the celebration, we will pick up with that next time. But first and foremost, let's level up.
That's 1,000 XP.
Of course, that is going to mean a class feat. That is also going to mean your free archetype dedication, and I believe a skill feat at this level as well.
Yes.
Quite a number of feats, and all of our spellcasters get one more spell slot. Huzzah.
Big. I am now proficient in my own skin.
What a line.
I'm only half a cripple instead of a full cripple. Let's go.
Shooting up from 15 to 19 AC in one level without changing equipment is wild.
Hell yeah.
But as you guys all work on your level up here, thank you all so much for playing. I do hope you enjoyed. Things will only get more dangerous from here, so let's see how well you survive your next locale.
You can actually call me a dandy now.
Oh boy, we love Dandy.
You're my